That was coming up next, but very quickly, we did say Festec town residents have reached out saying that they can hear sporadic gunfire around the neighborhood. We're now being joined live on phone by the CP, Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Fatai Owoseni. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Are you aware of what exactly is happening around Festec here?
Good morning. I'm aware of what is happening. There is no cause for panic.
What exactly is going on there?
There is an operation ongoing. It's a joint operation by security operatives to route the vandals out of Ijegun, Festac waterways. The residents only woke up to hear some gunfiring. It's not of any threat. They should not be panicked. The policemen, anti-robbery team, are all on patrol to ensure force, while the military and other operatives are on the water and the waterway to route the vandals out of that place.
At the moment, what's the security situation like in that locality, knowing full well what they've gone through in just recently?
Very calm. As I said, there is no need to panic. We've been on top of our hearts. We've fortified the area, and everybody within that area can go about their businesses without any fear of threat.
CP Fatai Owoseni would like to thank you for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you, Sule.
I do hope those around Festec, they say it's a show of force, a combined service or a combined activity of the police and military trying to rout out let's use the word, the bad guys out of Festec. Joining us now to talk more on national development, now that the new cabinet is in place, is Murtala Aliyu. He is the president of Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors and one-time Minister of State for Power. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Sometimes when we talk about professionals in politics and politics being what it is in the country, a whole lot of people would have thought that by now would have been out of the dark, especially when it comes to power and so many other infrastructure that we need in the country. What's your take when we talk about the new cabinet? Are you optimistic that definitely we will be able to surmount some of the challenges the country is going through at the moment?
Yes, I am. I believe that competent hands have been taken, and also the allocation to ministries is also done. If I have any little concern is let's say the ministry where power and works and housing are all merged into one ministry. It's okay if the capacities of the various sections of the ministries are enhanced, but each one is already it's a big issue that will require a lot of attention and a lot of planning. And but I believe that a competent person has been put there, and let's give him a chance and let's see what happens in the next maybe 6 months, how he is going to configure things. But I believe that it's going to be a tough one.
You are the president of the Institute of Quantity Surveyors.
Yes.
Now, the role of the professionals in rebuilding or building a nation has, a lot of people have talked about it over and over again. We have different bodies, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, we have the Quantity Surveyors, we have architects and all of that. Is it that the government never looks at the advice of this institute, or the institutes themselves are too self-involved to look to helping the rebuilding of the nation?
Well, I think it's both. For sometimes, most of the professional bodies are too self-involved, like you said. But I think we're going beyond that now. I think one of the major problems is the government itself not having so much confidence in the local capacities. For the country to grow, I think the government must be deliberate about engaging local capacity.
I asked this question because of what you said about, for instance, the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing. These are key areas in the country. We have a housing deficit of 17 million.
Exactly.
We have a lingering power situation. We have issues with our infrastructure basically across the nation.
Right.
So tying these institutes, these associations with how the ministries or this minister is going to work with these three.
The point I'm making is that, look, as long as you engage the local capacity, you'll be able to achieve a lot. Now, we previously, if you take, for instance, the road networks, most of the contracting companies are foreign. Now, even if they are locally registered, they are basically foreign. I am not sure that that's a good idea. It has taken this long. I think, and I believe strongly that there are companies that should be able to compete favorably in that respect. And I think they should be engaged. And not only that, the confidence of the state, the confidence of government in local capacity must be visible. All countries in the world, try to I don't say protect, but try to project their own. And if we do that, I think we'll be able to rebuild confidence in the local professionals, and we'll be able to see results more. I mean, we are here. We can't go anywhere, so we better make it work. And I think there are competent hands there. When our professional experts go outside, you find them topping and heading organizations and so on. But here, the situation is a bit dicey.
Why is that so?
In fact, if you are going to any government office or any public office, you are better received if you have some white-skinned guy around with you. It can be a laborer, it can be just a mason outside there. So I think that the mindset of the people in position of influence should be directed towards really having confidence in the local capacity and enhancing it.
Well, we can sit here and talk about some of the challenges facing local people, and it will be a very, very valid conversation. It's just that it will take forever because they too, if you speak with government people, they also have their own concerns about what local people have been able to do so far and how in some cases they can't go to sleep when they hand over contracts to them. But we'll come to that later. You're wear two caps. You've been in the private sector. I mean, right now you're heading the Institute of Quantity Surveyors. You've also been in government, former Minister of State for Power. What were your concerns? We still have a situation where power is neither here nor there. We're still not constant. Sometimes we make successes, sometimes it goes back. What do you think are some of the pitfalls that, awaits this current... There's another Minister of State like you for power.
Well, you see, the issue of power really complicated. A lot of investment has been made in power. But I think the original concept where procurement is the main target instead of, addressing the whole sector is where the problem is. Most governments pride themselves, including government I represented, about how much contracts that were awarded. And so much money has been spent. I think the issue of power has to be taken from from basis and give confidence in investors who will come and put in their money. I don't see government alone managing that aspect. I want Nigerians to look at power as a utility, not as dividend of democracy, not something that government alone should provide. Let it be something like firewood, like cooking gas that will be provided and people should buy, and then investors will come. There are a lot of laws that have been put in place, a lot of framework that's in place to encourage investors. But I can tell you, I think we're not there yet.
If you had to go back to the Ministry of Power, where would be the first place that you would look?
Well, the first place is to look at the power sector holistically. Each component, from generation through to distribution, have their own challenges. And if we keep generating and we can convey the power to the location of consumption, there's a problem. So allow those that will generate to keep investing in generation, ensuring them that there's going to be an offtake. But the transmission component, which is a transport basically component, I think government will have to keep investing in that for some time, and or ensure that there is going to be commercialization. And I'm going to people that take off the power, and those that generate actually pay, they should. And for the distribution companies, you see, I don't want them to have the confidence that they are taking over assets that are nice assets or productive assets. Anybody that is buying over a disco should know that in the next 5 years, he should be investing heavily, and in the next 5 years, it's unlikely to even break even. So it's not people look at it as a lucrative end, you know. So a lot of investments will have to go into all the sectors. But I think importantly, some marketing, some public relationship work has to be done with the Nigerian populace. Let people appreciate exactly the situation in the power sector. Let them appreciate the relationship between that product and their consumption. And let them understand that it's not something that is coming as a gift. It's something that they should buy and pay for. And also assist, you know, in managing the leakages. As we are now, between commercial and technical losses, we have over 40%. So even while we say we generate 6,000 megawatts or so, maybe just about, you know, 3,500 or so is consumed, you know, correctly. All the rest are lost, either through leakages, you know, or non-payment.
So that might justify the story that we hear that sometimes distribution companies tell generation companies to under-generate because they cannot they cannot distribute everything. Have you heard stories like that?
Yes, before? I have. And I was talking to one of the chaps in the Abuja company, distribution companies. He said one of the challenges are the government agencies, the military, the police, and so on. They are owing them billions of naira. But we learned that the vice president has also assured them that either payments are made or they will be taking first charge, you know, from the budgets of those organizations and paid. But I'm saying that people should differentiate the two. You know, that it's not a gift, it's not a dividend of democracy, it's actually a utility.
Would you recommend embedded generation? People have said that this huge, humongous structure of power that we have in this country is not sustainable, that every state should be somewhat also responsible for power generation, distribution, and consumption in their own states. Is this something that you would recommend or ask government to look into?
It's a possibility. I mean, all over the world, they are going the off-grid system. The grid system has been a traditional one, but especially with renewable energy now, you can isolate areas and have captive locations for power. I'll give you an example. Lagos alone will consume all that's generated today in Nigeria, if it's efficiently distributed. So I don't see why Lagos cannot be, you know, encouraged to generate its own power. But the problem is that until it becomes commercially sensible, you know, if you begin to isolate, you know, quite a number of areas will not have power. Because I'll give you an example. Then the whole northeast zone takes only about 4% of the country's generation. Lagos takes 40%.
So why wouldn't you say, okay, Lagos, you take 40%, but you know you have the capacity to generate at least 50% of the entire generation in the country if you concentrate on it. So why don't you say Lagos generate your power? Each of these areas generate your power.
Some of the challenges, I'll give you an example. Now, if you're going to use the gas itself is not appropriately priced for the power sector. At least I can recall, I don't know what the situation is now, when it was just about 90 cents for the power generation companies, while the market price is about $2.70. So for the gas company, that doesn't make sense. So until there's a harmony in that relationship, until maybe the gas companies also get the appropriate price, they'll be able to invest and expand their infrastructure to be able to supply adequately for this. And that will not happen if we are paying the same rate we are paying today. I'm not agitating for an increase, but I'm saying that it has to be appropriately priced.